Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Big Ten, three-ranked Purdue wins on the road at Michigan, 84-76. Zach Edey, 35-15. RC, other than what I'm honestly going to call a scheduled loss, which was in Columbus, first game after the Holtman firing, like that's just one of those spots, right? This Purdue team has not lost since they lost January 9th at Nebraska, which is a very, very hard place to play. So you're talking about two road losses in difficult spots since January 9th. Is it just that we're getting kind of accustomed to Purdue winning, so it's just ho-hum at this point?
I mean, that's part of it. They're damn good, man. I mean, they've been one of the better teams all year long. We've gone into, as we're approaching March, we've said it's UConn, it's Purdue, or Purdue and UConn. They've been the two best teams all year long, and everyone else is kind of trying to play catch up to those guys. And those two teams just seem to be in a tier of their own. And then there's a bunch of other teams in that next tier. But we've been waiting for other teams and been debating other teams who has played like Purdue and like UConn all year long. And quite honestly, no one has. So I think we take it for granted because Purdue has been here these last couple of years. We expected them to win the Big Ten. We're going to expect them to win the Big Ten tournament. Everything that we're going to find out about this Purdue team is one of those we got to wait to see. Do they advance in March? And I mean, right or unfair or unfair, that's the judgment that we're going to judge Purdue on because we've seen all this before. I don't think it should be taken for granted because I think Zach Edey is going to be a player of the year, back-to-back player of the year, and you're not, it'll be some years before you see that again. He's the most dominant player in college basketball, and I don't expect that to change until his season ends, whenever that is. And today with 35 and 15 shows you it's just Zach Edey doing Zach Edey things. It's almost like you're seeing these type of performances right now when you're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, it's Zach Edey, 35, 15. Okay, I'm not surprised, but Michigan actually would surprise me a little bit. I mean, they didn't lay down; they competed. This was a game for them. In a sense of. You thought that Michigan and Purdue would be dominate them, and I thought they was pretty competitive throughout the game. I mean, they had their chances. They tried to make shots. I think one stat, and I said this all year, I think Zach Edey should be the defensive player of the year because I think one of the stats that you don't see with him is the amount of times guys will get rebounds or guards will drive in there and they won't even shoot it. They'll just throw it back out and take a bad shot or take something else. His effect in the paint with guys, and he literally makes teams one-dimensional for the most part, and because he controls the paint on both ends of the floor, fouling guys out and all that. So I think that's the one thing about him that I've been impressed with the most, his ability to stay out of foul trouble, which we know he does. But Michigan was good. I thought they were valid. With Kumwa out, you knew, Olivier out. We just couldn't have him there, and you would like to think with him being there, could that have made a difference? Could that have helped? But as we talked about with Purdue, they got two of those three guards playing well, and it was Jones and Smith tonight who played well. And if I don't think Fletcher, I don't think Fletcher Loyer shot it enough to be saying he shot it poorly. He didn't take a lot of shots, maybe 5 shots, but they got enough out of the 4 spot. Kaufman, Wren, and Gillis gave them, I think, like a 12 and 11, like a double-double combined. And if they get that, what is a typical Zach Edey performance, and 2 of those guards are playing well, that's their recipe. That's how they play, and that's how they win.
No, I agree. Any day that Michigan comes within 15 at this stage, it's a great day to be a Wolverine. I tip my cap, man. I'm for real. I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. I'm happy for that program, man. It feels like they're finally taking some positive steps. Sweeney, you know this as well as anybody when it comes to Purdue. It gets earned. Their reputation in the postseason is earned. So I'm not trying to act like it's not, but we're going to hear it, right? We're going to hear, oh, well, here we go again. Purdue does this every single year. They win the Big Ten. They run the table, and they get to March, and they have pitch running down their leg. What makes them – because to me, just watching them when I have been able to watch them, it does feel like there's something different about this group. I don't know if it's the maturation of Braden Smith. I don't know if it's the addition of Lance Jones, maybe a combination of the two, but – from where you sit, what will make this Purdue team different come, 3 weeks from now?
Look, I think the biggest thing is that they're less reliant on posting Zach Edey up, right? Like because of Braden Smith's maturation, they can play in ball screens a lot more and just flow into stuff and get quality offense without having to run sets. And I think that makes things a lot easier for them, especially in games where, all right, like teams go crazy on double, triple, quadruple teaming Edey, sending numbers at him, making cloudying the picture, if you will. Like I think in those situations, they've just been able to flow into offense with their two guards, whether it's Jones or whether it's Braden Smith. Obviously, those guys making plays, and I think this Purdue team is probably most similar to the Purdue team that had Carson Edwards that went to the Elite Eight. Not to say that Braden Smith is Carson Edwards; they're different players, but just having multiple guards who can actually play in ball screens and not be so reliant on just throwing it down to Zach. And Zach creates so much for those guys because whenever he's rolling, you have to pay so much attention, otherwise it's a dunk. So look, that team was the best Purdue has been in March. It made a real run. If not for that prayer by Kihei Clark, there's a world where that Purdue team goes to a Final Four and wins the national championship, right? Like they're winning that game. Virginia, the redemption arc ends on that moment in the Elite Eight. So I don't think it's impossible, certainly, for Purdue to win in March. And I think that with this group, they have all the makings to do it. I think they have to play better defensively than they have lately, but they have all the pieces to be a successful team in March despite the history.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.